Another haunt season is about to happen. Haunt season is upon us. Another haunt season has come and gone. The haunt seasons, celebrated everywhere for their frightfulness. A glorious time where the air fills with the smell of fog and the sound of screams, mazes, scare zones, yard displays, immersive theater, and the Jabberwockies for some inexplicable reason. From the humblest of driveway haunts to sprawling month-long theme park event tickets, I adore haunts in exactly the same way I adore theme parks. It's an immersive artistic experience only beginning to realize its full potential. And while we here in Los Angeles, haunt capital of Halloween, California, enjoy a glut of the spooky stuff from Labor Day to Dia de los Muertos, it is only natural many of us want to take that demented energy and spread it year-round. Establish a haunt you can visit any day on the calendar. And many establishments have tried. But I have something of a hot take about that idea. Year-round haunts are not sustainable within larger entertainment settings. I'm going to expand on this, but first some caveats. Most importantly, the basic definition of a haunt. A haunt is an event in a localized location involving both scenery and actors there for the purpose of scaring you. It's fright for entertainment. Mostly, they take the form of mazes. Not literal mazes, but walk-through attractions with narrow hallways full of holes characters can pop out of, and recesses for effect scenes and tableaus. Haunts can also include shows, hayrides, games, and scare zones, which act as free-range outdoor mazes. There are several levels of haunts across ranges of scale and professionalism. The most basic is a yard or home haunt. Folks with a love of the scare and some spare tarps lying around, creating haunts ranging from enthusiastic yard displays to full ghost towns with sophisticated technology. None of these are done for profit, though some encourage donations to charitable causes. Home haunts are usually only done on or in the immediate time period of Halloween. Year-round haunts aren't feasible due to the lack of funding, draconian HOA covenants, or the fact that these are regular people with jobs and PTA meetings who might not have time to run a haunt year-round. Next level up is the charity haunt. These have largely gone out of favor due to a tragic fire in the 70s, but the idea is an organization puts together a haunted house for a fundraising event, similar to charity carnivals or flea markets. Often these haunts make over existing structures into a maze or a scare zone. Either students glorify their school building, or a third-party organization works with the nonprofit to build up an empty retail space while the charity provides the characters. Obviously, the limitations of fundraising and spaces provided make year-round charity haunts impractical. The next level above a charity haunt is obviously a professional haunt. Now, these actually have the best chance of operating on a year-round basis. Many still don't, using their space for other events for the off-season. Hell's Gate in Chicago rents out their haunt space for events and uses their grounds for paintball and outdoor adventurizing when it's not spooky time, but others do operate the full year as a haunt. Many share space in tourist destinations, letting the boardwalk or outlet do the work of drawing viewers and keeping the other businesses open that would exist symbiotically with the haunt. A rising tide lifts all boats. But that function works a little less so the next stage up. At the top of the chain, we have a theme park or resort haunt. These take the form of large-scale season-long events involving multiple mazes, scare zones, and entertainment options. They can also look like month-long overhauls of pre-existing tourist attractions like Dark Harbor at the Queen Mary and the LA Haunted Hayride. These specifically ticketed and marketed events are intensely popular at their host locations and come in second only to Christmas for spikes in attendance. It's only natural that proprietors of these parks would want to carry that spooky momentum through the rest of the year, and it's this main idea I want to push against. As I said, year-round haunts are not sustainable. However, I don't think this unsustainability is an inherent fault of haunts, but more how we think about them. The first mark against haunts is unfortunately a quirk of our own brains. The main source of scares in a haunt is the jump scare. Sudden startles, usually from a human character or puppet. There can be more atmospheric creepiness or gore, but they're designed to service the main scare. The thing about entertainment based on the unexpected, however, is that repetition dulls the adrenaline rush of surprise. Other things have to hold up the tension for repeat viewings, which film and television can have. But when the whole design leans on jump scares, it can feel stale on multiple walkthroughs when the haunt itself has not changed. Like watching a latter-day Friday the 13th sequel until it's all memes, repeated jump scares can feel boring or childish. So public enthusiasm for year-round haunts can wane purely from people getting accustomed without anything richer to compensate. Which leads to... the most important part of a haunt is the first thing to get cut in the budget. People. It's no secret theme parks shift their priorities after budget meetings, and after spooky season, parks might need to focus more on maintenance or upcoming holiday overlays or a new attraction opening soon. Either way, finance comes back around to attractions that aren't quite as popular as that last quarter to see if they can save some money. Surprisingly, the year-round haunt is less popular once Halloween is over, so it starts looking appetizing for cuts. They can't scrimp on safety maintenance or upkeep, so the easiest thing to downsize is labor. Less employees in the maze working shorter hours, and this includes hosts making sure guest flow is steady and well behaved, as well as the characters making the actual scares. As a result, the maze experience can vary wildly in quality. Spaces meant to be teeming with humans in masks feel empty and uninteresting. One character might have several more cues to hit, causing them to be stretched over a larger space and less energetic in their performance. Guests are more likely to linger or get lost without a guide or something to scare them forward. And don't forget, these spaces are built with the human element in mind, so there's not always enough to draw attention without the characters. Then it becomes this vicious cycle of declining interest and waning support. Actually, let's elaborate more on that design element. Most seasonal mazes are more visually detailed and interesting to look at than their year-round counterparts. They both have to have the same OSHA and ADA compliance, but there's a little more wiggle room put into props and set dressing for an event lasting 2 months rather than for the foreseeable future. Things like dolls grabbed from the prop department right by the path or fiddly vines hanging in guest doorways are perfectly acceptable in a short event when they would be tucked far out of reach in a full-time attraction. Visual clutter gets streamlined, and the maze is taken down to essentials, i.e. characters. This can make visual design less interesting and less immersive, which is all fine if you have the characters to pick up the slack. But what you have most of the time is a visually overly streamlined space with only a few overworked characters that's not near as exciting as you remember from the last time you walked through. Thus, year-round haunts, as much as I love them, are not sustainable. Oh, this thing has been editing hell so long, I have been proven right. What did I say was the best way for a year-round haunt to succeed? As its own thing, independent within a larger tourist complex. And that looks to be exactly what Universal is doing here with Area 15. I think it's going to go very well, and the only way I could be more excited about this is if I was working on it. Oh, how did my portfolio get here? Mr. Murdy, if you feel like you're in a apprentice-taking mood, back to your regularly scheduled programming. But what kind of year-round haunt could be built that anticipates these issues? How could we design our way out of them? Well, it would have to rely on something other than jump scares to keep it interesting. It can still have jump scares, but maybe put more emphasis on a creepy, unnerving atmosphere that a jump scare can't fully resolve. Have a visually rich world and story that the guests can look at and enjoy so the focus doesn't have to be on characters all the time. More animatronics, optical illusions, and tableaus make it so that if you didn't have any characters at all, it would still work. And maybe set everything away from guest reach so that you can be as detailed as you want. Maybe if there was some sort of conveyance that could direct both the guest speed and their focus. I'm describing the Haunted Mansion. The perfect year-round haunt is the Haunted Mansion. That's it. I'm done. This is the end of video. I'm finished. Yep. Hello. Thank you for watching and listening to my silly video on haunts that I love very much. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment talking about your favorite haunts and how you think a year-round haunt would work. I'd love to hear your ideas about it. As always, I have a Ko-fi and a Patreon, links in the description, if you would like to contribute to any of these scripted videos that I'm very silly with. Thank you very much, guys, and enjoy the spooky out there.